Yeah, like you could go in there, hit it, start dancing in Orgrimmar, and then Hearth.
Yeah.
So,
I was actually about to say until you you get those paladins trying to rub your face in it, and you're just spamming something, just waiting, and you'll catch them when bubble ends before they get the hearth off.
Oh yeah.
That actually makes sense because I went balls deep in classic.
Oh, yeah?
I was in it.
I'm really good at them too. Like I'm pretty consistent with those. What do we call them? Weekly.
so is it
Guild
just
Quest?
about you not winning now? Is that what this is about?
Links, I don't see your name on here at all, man.
What? Like I don't. I post screenshots
He
of me
posts
doing this
pictures.
stuff all the time. Like right?
Yeah.
Good morning, Twitch. Good morning, YouTube. Thank you for waking up with some morning wood. Gonna do the first 10 minutes that's a little bit weird. We're gonna do it as a voiceover because I forgot to turn my mic on. We're gonna be rolling into this week, May 18th, in the World of Warcraft. Got a couple new characters here on the show. We got Mr. Baylock, Mr. Thunderfury. So shortly we got Bay that's gonna introduce himself. So we'll go from that.
Hey, Baylock. I am an officer in Might, the resident warlock, also the only warlock. Yeah, I do our guild events, so mostly our guild quests I do every Tuesday. So for people who want to participate in that, I'm the guy who does them. Yeah, Lost Colony with a 0 for the second O. I mostly stream just our raids, so I can go back and critique my own gameplay, see where I'm doing things wrong.
And others.
And, well, yeah, and others.
It's not for the faint of heart.
I get a little upset about things. It's all right.
And it's hilarious.
He's filled with passion. It's good.
All right, and now we got the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Thunderfury.
Yeah, I'm Drew. I'm GM of Might, and I tank because I can't DPS. So yeah.
All right, so if you look up here, we got the new Morningwood logo, our new mascot, Mr. Woody. He's got the finger guns, he's got that snarky look, he's even got his morning cup of coffee. This was brought to us by our resident emoji logo creator, Miss Heal to Death. I will put her information in the comments here below. Reach out to her. She doesn't like commissions, but she's damn good at it. All right, we're gonna roll right on into it with this week's Mythic Plus affixes. We got the Week 12 rotation. This is gonna be end of the second full rotation in Shadowlands. We got Tyrannical. Bosses have that 30% more health, and their minions inflict 15% increased damage. Raging, non-boss enemies enrage at 30% health. They deal 100% increased damage until defeated. Then we got Quaking, where periodically all players emit a shockwave, inflicting damage and interrupting nearby allies. This is on some kind of random 20-second interval throughout the dungeon, so I think you can kind of time this.
You can time when the cooldown is up, yeah, but you can't tell exactly when it's going to happen.
Well, it's actually comes in intervals of 3. So there's actually a weak aura you can use to track it. So it basically like a tick bar. So it'll happen every, I don't remember the time, but just for instance, it'll either happen 10 seconds later, 20 seconds later, or 30 seconds later. So it'll never be random. It'll be like every 10 seconds, and it'll proc it each little interval. Basically it's like a swing timer, basically.
All right, and this week Valor Cap is going to increase to 12,500. Drew, you're at cap with some tunes, maybe, I think?
Yeah, on several tunes, I'm like right up there. On like the Paladin and the Demon Hunter. It's a really good way to catch up. Because you can boost certain items up, which is nice. But it's also kind of weird because you've got to judge if you want to boost a low item. Like with my Druid, I'm not boosting anything. Like I'm just getting more and more Valor until I can get at least item level like 207, and then boosting that. Because right now it takes way too much points to boost something from 0 or from 1 to the cap.
Well, also you don't want to get something up to, you've been boosting it, get to like 203, and then you get the same item from a dungeon at 207 or 210 or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Just feel bad.
Yeah, even with my Demon Hunter, it's kind of a like, well, I don't know if I want to boost this because you don't know what you're going to get in your chest. And it's like, if you get something in your chest, it's amazing. Then you just wasted all those points.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's too bad you can't boost everything up to 226 to be on par with a Great Vault, but here we are.
Yep.
I mean, I understand the progression where you don't want everything to be grindable. You want it to be grindable up to a point, and then that vault, you still want it to matter, but
You just want RNG to take over?
not really. Like, you want some kind of gear progression, some kind of excitement coming from the weekly lockout. I don't think it's working out perfectly right now, for sure. But I mean, the idea is there.
I don't know. I think that the main problem is they don't have the same system set up for everything. Now they have the same system set up for PvP, Mythic Plus, but not raiding. So when you get those boxes from raiding, they're just crap, right? Like no one ever selects those.
Right.
I mean, unless you're Mythic rating, then there you go. If you're filling your box out with Mythic kills.
Yeah, because you can get 233 item level gear out of those. But otherwise, it's 220 for Heroic is the max you're going to get out of a Great Vault for Heroic rating.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's just weapons.
It's anything off of the last two bosses, right?
Okay,
So,
that's
Yeah, it's like you can get 220 out of your Heroic cash.
Yep, yeah, because Stone Legion Generals and Denathrius both drop 220 item level gear in Heroic.
right.
So they're going to reset Valor end of the season, right?
I don't think they've made an announcement about that yet. It would make sense for it to. Otherwise, you can just upgrade all your gear straight up to 252 or whatever the new cap is going to be.
We'll probably follow
Yeah,
the
okay.
same rules that PvP has set up, like a weekly cap of what was it, 800 when the season started.
500.
The first
Per
week was
PvP.
500, I think. Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure how they're going to do it, to be honest. It would make sense for them to reset it. Otherwise, like I said, people are just going to be upgrading all of their items like straight away. They'll just bank a ton of Valor,
Yeah.
and then go for it. You know?
Also, if they were to announce like right now, right, that Valor is not going to reset, people are going to start fucking grinding.
Yeah.
And if they announce something like that like a week before drop, people are going to be pissed. Like, really? It always resets. So,
Yeah,
But
it's,
yeah, I
it's
mean,
a tough
like I
spot for them
said-
to be in.
it wouldn't make any sense for them to not reset it. Anyway.
Yeah, because I mean, like when the patch does come out, all your item levels from doing all the mythics are going to go up as well. So,
Right.
oh god, I hope you don't have to refarm. You're going to have to refarm items that you already have to push them higher, right?
That's another question that I had.
yeah.
I don't know if they're just going to increase the ranks of current items. Like currently, it caps out at what, rank 12 or whatever. But you can only upgrade to item level 220. And if you look at the item level charts for 9.1, you can get item level 220 loot from the end of a +4 dungeon.
That's insane. I don't think they've ever caught that up that fast.
I mean,
Maybe I'm wrong, but
we've seen
I
huge
saw like
power
Raid
games before.
Finder. I know, but like Raid Finder going into 9-1, and I know I'm jumping ahead, but like that's gonna be 213. I don't
normal
think that's
bosses,
ever
yeah.
been
Or for
I
Raid
don't
Finder
think
for the
that's
first
for
10.
Raid Finder. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think that's ever been a thing up until now. I might be wrong, but where the previous tier's heroic is the new tier's Raid Finder, I don't think it's always been a larger gap than that.
I mean, we've seen enormous item level bullet before, where power games just
Yeah.
like take an exponential curve up. This could be the same thing. We'll see. I mean, Blizzard might do something weird where even for Shadowlands, they've already done the diminishing returns on secondary stats, right? So
Right.
maybe the
Yeah, but
the
with
floor
how
won't be as big.
strong primary stat is, that's still a huge power game.
True. Yeah.
I mean, but we'll see.
So this is like a tie push week, right? You can be pushing keys there, Bay?
I think this is going to be do your 414s and then call it a week. Just Tyrannical sucks, right? There's no two ways around it. Raging is a pain, just because it's sort of like having Fortified for the last 30% of mob health. Well, I mean, and then Quaking is just like you may as well not even have an affix for Quaking because it's easy to deal
Right.
with. Tyrannical, as
This
always,
is one of
is
the
a big one.
better Tyrannical weeks.
Yeah,
but
even 2
Tyrannical
weeks ago
still
wasn't too bad.
Sucks.
Tyrannical just draws out the fight so long.
Mhm.
And like I understand that it's meant to be punishing, but I think in some cases it's just too punishing.
Well, I
Yeah.
think what it is it just prolongs the fight, so you actually end up dealing with the fight in a way that it was not meant to. Like you start running into issues that you weren't really meant to run into, that wouldn't be an issue. Only reason they're an issue is because it's gone on so long, right? Like they're really well designed bosses, have some nice mechanics, but when you draw it out that long, those mechanics start really stepping on each other
Yeah.
in a pain in the ass way.
From a thinking aspect for this week, I think this is a push week. I think it's a big push week. Just because how tinking works right now is you get all the aggro and you get the fuck out anyways, so who cares if they're raging?
It's a good
Because
point.
you can just leave. You know? It's
You
like,
can
oh,
just
you guys are
leave.
mad.
Bye.
I mean, yeah, the tanking meta right now is just kiting.
Right.
That's how tanking works in Shadowlands right now in keys. So
Yeah. And Quaking's nothing. Quaking just makes
Right.
it so that it's a little bit harder if you have like 4 melee. But if they're smart, you could spread out for it.
Spread out. Yeah.
and it's disruptive as a caster. Like I wouldn't want to be a healer on Quaking when shit really hits the fan because you're going to interrupt yourself. But all in all, it's not that big a deal.
I actually don't mind that. Like playing a couple casters and different healers, like just kind of being able to plan around that. Like throughout its lifetime, like through Legion, Quaking has always been a thing, right? So I actually don't mind it. You know, you can kind of build up to have something lined up for it before
Yeah,
it
and
goes off.
I'm coming at this from like a warlock perspective, mainly Affliction, because that's what I play mostly. A lot of my stuff is instant cast or has a super short cast time, so for me it's not a huge deal. If I play Destruction in Mythic Plus, which is what I've been doing more and more recently, just for the burst AOE, even then it's not that big a deal because my AOE, like Rain of Fire, is an instant cast, so I don't need to stand around and channel or cast or anything like that. So Quaking, again, not a huge deal for me.
Yeah, and if you're
I
a
don't think
whole
it's really a huge deal.
it means absolutely nothing because all your stuff is instant.
Oh yeah.
I play a fire mage, dude. I'm literally turreting fireballs the entire time. Turret, fireball, and even I can, save a hot streak or something, have something lined up, and just playing around it. It's not a huge decision, but I do think there's some decision making that it creates, and it's cool for that, I guess. It's fine.
So how do you guys cancel your casting?
I move forward.
I jump or strafe, yeah.
So I used to jump, but with Druid Starfall, jumping doesn't stop your cast, so I keep getting interrupted.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
I know exactly what you mean because Scorch you can cast while moving. And so if I'm casting Scorch on like for execute or something on ads, I just move and I'm like, fuck. So yeah, I
what
have
is
to hit
this word
escape
you
for
keep on saying cast? What does that mean?
that. Alright, Mr. Holy Pally.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Right.
Oh yeah.
You know what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but your range DPS, right? Like this is like the one affix that affects range DPS. Every other affix pretty much in Mythic Plus is like screw you melee. So
Yeah,
This
no.
game is not melee friendly.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just that one interaction of like having to stop casting, but you can cast while moving, and it fucking catches you. It's the only pain point. I only run into that when I'm like scorched staring on something, and I try to stop, and I'm like, oh shit, it didn't stop. I'm stupid.
it doesn't interrupt when you eat anymore, right? Like that was the worst.
It only will if somebody's overlapping you and they hit you with quaking.
Okay.
Okay. You
Otherwise,
take damage.
yeah. Otherwise, if quaking hits while you're eating, I don't think it'll stop you from eating.
It'll still stop you from resting. It's such a bitch.
It is, dude. Yeah. Like it can be disruptive.
It's
Like
the worst.
it's not as bad as other ones though, for sure. Like it'll slow you down, but it won't slow you down like Spiteful could, or any other like generally considered easy affixes.
Even like Sanguine can
Yeah.
slow you down. It's on kiting and get that one little dickhead won't get out.
Right. Like I think you really have to worry about positioning and things like that for Sanguine and for Spiteful, but for Quaking, it's just you are where you are. Don't overlap somebody, right? Don't hit them with the damage, but other than that, it's not a problem.
So, funny, awkward news. I guess my audio on Twitch wasn't on for my mic. So,
Whoops. Well, they heard us though, right?
Yours or
just mine, I guess.
You weren't-
'cause-
You weren't
Oh.
saying anything important. It's fine.
right, like the intros and everything. Like all that
just
stuff.
run the thing, man.
That's
Come
fine.
on.
All right, well, I think we got it now. All right, I guess anything else on Mythic Plus you guys want to touch on? Are we good there?
Yeah. Do we want to go back and redo the whole thing?
Like, yeah, I just got here. Could you just completely
Rewind.
Somebody catch me up.
Oh man, what a mess.
For this patch for this week, I think we've probably got it mostly covered.
Oh, KSM, Drew, can we do 6 dungeons today?
Sure.
Well,
What 6 do you need?
Not the easy ones.
what two don't you need? I think is the shorter question.
Probably
Atonement
mists and
and Plaguefall, I think.
I've got a Theater of Pain 15.
Oh, and you said something that sounded off. You said do the 14s you normally do each week. 4 of them. Like, that's a thing? Like, you said this
Because you don't get loot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
don't get
'cause-
loot for 15s as opposed to
Yeah.
14s.
Oh, no,
It
it,
gives
was,
you
it
your-
was the 4. He's like, do your normal
it gives
4.
you your 2
like,
slots.
People
You
running
get 2
4
slots
dungeons
in
every
the-
week?
At least, yeah.
Really?
Dude, when I was pushing KSM,
For
there was one
2
week where I
slots
did
in the
over 20 15s. It was a big week.
Okay, this is that thing we were talking about the other day where I, like, wake up before the kids in the family wake up, and then, like, they steal my time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you've got that convenience.
You notice how I'm sitting in the middle of my apartment with nothing going on around me? It's
Nope.
amazing.
I had to lock the door before the podcast. So
It's
I saw-
amazing.
Yeah, I thought you were getting up to leave. I was like, oh, well, we lost links. But no, I understand it now. I have no distractions, so I can run Mythic Plus all day if I want to.
just
Yeah, well, the
literally-
key too is that like you just have to do 4. You don't have to time them. You know.
Yeah, you just got to complete them.
Yeah, but who the fuck wants to do 4 without timing them at this
Right.
point?
I mean,
like,
look, timing a 14 is relatively trivial for people. I mean, I want to say people like us who've been doing this for a while and have decent gear and generally know what we're doing. That may not be the case for everybody, right? Like, there's a lot of people that play WoW, so not everybody's going to be blasting through 14s or 15s even.
no, I just mean the time investment on that. Yeah, that's like no shade to people who have
Yeah.
trouble, but it's just like if you're not timing any of your 414s, like by how much, like you're adding an extra 10 minutes to each dungeon, like
Yeah, and like 414s, that could be depending on the dungeon. If you run 4 Mists of Tyr Scythe, like that's 2 hours. So it's not a trivial amount of time for people that have responsibilities.
Yeah.
Kids, wife, whatever the case, right? Dog. I got none of that. So 2 hours for me is no problem.
All right, good deal. So we'll see if we can knock that out. Hacked you in, try and get some KSM chipped away, or
maybe.
maybe.
We'll see.
Hack doesn't care.
It's hacked. How about you get your KSM and you get me my spider mount?
They
I'll just
dropped the
get you your
requirement for the
Spidey
spider mount. It's
Yeah,
you only
I'll
need
just
a
get
1,000
you
rating now.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, I know, but no one wants to play with me. So
I'll play with you.
yeah.
Dude, what the fuck do you mean? I'll play with you on my ret. I don't care, dude. Let's go.
Are you sure? Are you sure you don't have
Blast.
any new levels to bring in to play with me?
Let me finish. I think my rogue is like level 58. So let me finish that out first. Then we'll play.
All right, good deal. So we'll wrap that up with the Mythic Plus. So world bosses this week. We got Val in order. He's gonna be up in that northwest corner of Bastion. This is gonna be for the Elemental Shaman, the Holy Priest, and the Ret Paladin. So Elemental Shaman, still BIS, I believe. I haven't checked it recently, but it's probably still up there as the top tier. Holy Priest, kind of a niche thing. It's just that, like, what's the cheat death mechanic, right? Brings you back to life.
Yeah.
Ret Paladin, Hack, this is still a top tier one for Ret, right?
Best in slot PvP, best in slot single target. Thing fucking slaps.
You're talking about the actual conduit, right?
No,
Not
the,
Lego,
legendary-
the Lego drops. The Lego
Yeah.
piece. Like, what do
The
you call
memories,
The memories.
that? There you go.
the powers, whatever you want to call them.
Yep. Since this is on a 4-week rotation, we don't want you to miss out. So Elemental Shaman, Holy Priest, Ret Paladin, get out there. World Boss comes up. Check that box. Raid, we don't have any numbers because WoW had died. So
Oof.
you guys see any patch notes in 9.1 of the raid you want to talk about? Like, I haven't dug too deep because I don't really see too many spoilers on 9.1 raid.
Same. I kind of do a similar thing.
I watched some of the raid testing. It looks like there's going to be a couple of patchwork bosses, which I'm particularly excited for as a warlock. Some of them we got a couple of ad rushes. A couple of them they're not puzzles necessarily, but you have to move in specific ways to avoid mechanics and things like that. So maybe increasing the difficulty for some people who keyboard turn or click their
You
ability.
mean like maze type? I think
Kind
I
of.
know.
So
I
imagine
think
you're
I
on.
know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, imagine the boss platform is big, like a chessboard almost, right? Like a 15 by 15 grid. Spikes will pop up on 14 of those 15 squares, basically, and they'll move towards you, and you just have to go through like wherever the spikes aren't.
Yeah.
Basically, stuff like that, right? But interesting mechanics, not necessarily something we haven't seen before, but something we haven't seen in Shadowlands yet.
Right.
Did you see anything about the anima power integration? Like, is that
On the Terragru fight, I think, and I'm not sure because I've only seen a couple of streams, I don't have all the details, but I think what happens there is you go and stand in a particular spot and you're affected by anima powers, I think. But I'm not entirely sure how it works.
okay?
It's part of the mechanics of the fight, right? Where like the ground will turn black and you have to go stand on a specific spot to avoid the shadow damage from the ground. And when you're there, you get a specific anima power. But I'm not completely sure. I haven't been, delving super deep into the mechanics of the new raid yet.
Yeah, that's something that I generally don't look into, even as a raid leader, like in the past, like with mutineers and everything. I just kind of looked threw down some notes. At least, so at first I did not do this. I fucking detailed notes and tried to explain in detail the fight, and then we would like knock it over, and I wasted 30 minutes of time. But
Yeah.
I learned from that to just write down a couple little notes like, hey, here's some big things that happen. Let's fucking pull it and figure it out.
Yep.
But also, I stay away from that because that is my enjoyment of raiding. Is it's like, hey, let's see this fight. Let's see what fucking happens. Right?
Yeah, and that's the thing too. I get so impatient when there are these long-winded explanations before fights
Mhm.
because
Everybody does.
nobody's going to remember 80% of the things that you just talked about. Like, we've got to get in there, see the fight, make it muscle memory, and actually get the experience of doing it. Otherwise, like, talking about it is fine for the big things, like you said, if there's a one-shot mechanic or whatever.
Hmm.
But even if you tell somebody about it, we're still going to die to it. So we just have to go in and do it.
Hey, I actually don't know if you caught our raid leading episode with Kat on Morningwood.
I did.
But
Yep.
we talked a lot about all that shit. Like, keep it 45 seconds and under. Like, hey, here's this, and this. If you drone on for longer than that, people are gonna stop listening.
Oh
They're
yeah.
not gonna hear what you fucking said anyway.
Yeah.
Or
I mean,
you run into fights where you over-explain. It sounds super crazy, like Drustagath in
yeah.
Nyalotha. It's a joke, and you just fucking like, this fight's boring. There's nothing happening in this.
Yeah, but on paper, it's a complex fight. So
Right.
once you get in and you can make sense of it, everything is so much more simple.
Yeah, usually the ones that seem the most complex are the least.
Yeah, I mean, even if you take the Denathrius fight, for example, right? Like, phase 3 is a bit nuts, but if you just do it, it makes sense. But if you try to tell people exactly what's going to happen and when before we go into the fight,
Exactly.
it's not going to make any sense to anybody.
Yeah, we had actually been talking about, the little presentation. I wouldn't have done that if it wasn't like we've seen this enough. Like, we know, everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about, like the way I have it drawn, because we've seen it enough that they're gonna know. But going into, I wouldn't do that for like a fresh run. Like,
Yeah.
I think a big thing too is it's PTR, right? And
right.
there's so much shit that's just going to change or be thrown out, or they're going to add stuff, they're going to balance it different, that the best time to actually look and see what the hell it looks like is World First.
Yeah.
And I know that World First, a lot of times they have like the mythic versions, but they also run the heroic versions, to get gear and
Right.
stuff.
And
you
even
can
then, they do tuning passes,
take a
but
look.
the mechanics, by and large, won't change once they hit live.
And you kind of want to take that with a grain of salt too, because they're going to be degenerating it, because that's how they play.
Yeah,
Right?
tuning
They play
passes, yeah.
degenerately.
Oh,
No, I
you
mean
the
like
guild,
World
yeah.
First. Yeah, yeah, because I mean they're the best of the best, so they're going to pull shit off that we can't. Right? Like,
Yeah,
they have the organization and the skill to be able to do some crazy shit with it. So the fight for them is going to look different than it will for us.
yeah. Yeah, plus they're doing like twice the DPS as everybody else, so the fight's half as long.
Yeah.
All right, good deal. So we will see what has to come. I guess. How far are we from this? You think it's 9.1 August? What are we thinking for drop date for this?
Oh boy, I hope it's not that far.
I hope it's not that far.
But when is TBC Classic?
June 1st.
Yep.
June 1st?
Pre-patch
I don't know.
Tuesday, 2 weeks out is live from then.
Would it make sense for Blizzard to drop TBC Classic and then drop 9.1 not long after?
I feel like that's kind of been a pattern
Has it? Okay, I guess I haven't noticed.
with Classic launch into, I guess 8.3 wasn't long after Classic launch. Mistaken.
Yeah, it's like Nax was supposed to be a month after the original release of
Shadowlands
Shadowlands
drop. Right.
until they pushed it back. So probably like the beginning or mid July is probably going to be when patch hits.
That's what I was kind of thinking. Yeah.
I'm hoping beginning of July. Like, I don't want to wait for August. We're already having people get burnt out and not want to show up to raids and things like that. And I totally understand it because we've been doing this raid for months at this point. We've got our heroic ahead of the curve. I feel like most people have probably accomplished what they wanted to accomplish in 9.0 and 9.0.5, at least as far as rating goes, PvP and Mythic Plus notwithstanding, right? So the raid is kind of boring. I'm basically there just to kill stuff as fast as I can and see if I can do better than the week before. But that doesn't motivate
Same.
everybody.
I mean,
so
yeah, that I mostly just show up to hang out with everybody, honestly.
me too, right? Like, that's
I kind of just turn myself off and like press my buttons, do big damn, and shoot the shit.
yeah.
Like actually, Drew, I never fucking told you, but I actually told Risen like, "Yo, I'll heal," because I'm like, I want to see how much damage I can put out as a Kyrian paladin,
There
right?
you
Just like, and that's pretty much what I did. Focus on just damage is holy.
Time is up.
Yeah, like, we could do this content anywhere, right? Like, that doesn't matter. But I think the people that we have, that's kind of what keeps it fun. But one of the
Yeah,
things
I
that I
think we
did notice,
just have fun.
exactly, yeah. And after raid on Wednesday, after we finally killed Denathrius, I noticed that we went from having like 14 or 15 people online during the raid down to 3 or 4 immediately after the raid ended. So people are just logging
Yeah.
in the raid and then right afterwards they're done. So people are bored with this patch. I think
I mean,
when
I
9.1
am.
comes out-
That's
I am too. Like, there's
Yeah.
nothing more to do in raid. My gear is as good as it's going to get, at least from raiding. Like, I'm item level like 225 or something, so I can get new stuff from the Mythic Plus vault, but that's 1 item a week. And if you're
I mean, I'm
motivated
full
by gear like I
220
am,
from Rival, so
yeah, exactly, and that's
I'm
what
not
I
gonna
was
get
early
anything
on
from
too. I quit doing PvP when the Valor system came out because I figured if there's a PvE system for upgrading gear, I don't really need the PvP system for upgrading gear anymore.
Right.
But I got myself up to 1870 something in rated battlegrounds, specifically so I could get the 220 gear just for raiding in Mythic Plus, because PvE's always kind of been my focus. But now that we've got the
I'm kind
Valor
of sad that they've dumpstered on that system going into 9.1.
on the PvP system,
Yeah, it's still gonna be decent, but I mean, everything's gonna be 6 item levels lower, I think.
oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
So PvP gear will be a set item level, but when you're in PvP combat, it raises its item level. that
Yeah,
how
it's
it
gonna
works?
raise by 13. So
Okay,
like
okay.
from the base of what it would be now, it's gonna be 6 less, and then if you were to go into PvP, it would be 7 higher than the base, but 13 higher than like
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
what it would be.
I mean, it kind of makes sense, though. I mean, you get PvP.
No, it
gear,
makes
it's
sense.
PvP, right? So
I guess
No, I like it.
It just seems like
'cause
an
it makes-
unfortunate. It sucks that it's necessary, right? Like the systems and the design that Blizzard put in place has necessitated a system like this where item level is arbitrarily, I guess, increased based on what you're doing at the time. I don't know. I kind of miss like the old days where you could just get
Gear is gear.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Gear is gear. Yeah.
and
I know, and
maybe
that's why I kinda
have
like that.
resilience or power or whatever the case was, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I do like where they're coming from. Like, you know, you want PvP gear to be the best in PvP, and that way it decentivizes PvP players from doing PvE, which is good because they don't want to. So, I mean, it's good, right? But
Yeah.
I also did like that. Like, I really enjoyed that. Hey, I'm excelling in PvP this patch, so like, I mean, aside from others that, you know, like you put the time into RBGs, so you fucking climbed up there quicker than I did,
No.
and other people just doing everything. But for the most part, I was ahead of the curve as far as guild goes because I was excelling in PvP and using that gear for raid, and like I was having fun with it, man. Gear was gear, and it was a good time for me.
Yeah.
But
And
so I'm
to be
kind of sad
clear-
to see that go.
The only reason I did well in PvP this past season was because I was an Affliction Warlock in rated battlegrounds using Sacrilash's
Yeah.
which is the corruption slow.
Right.
And if you use absolute corruption, it's a 24-second corruption, which is a long 50% slow.
Which got removed actually going into 9.
It did. So there's sort of a way around it. In 9.1, the change is every time your corruption ticks, it will extend the duration of your curse on that target. So if you cast Curse of Corruption on a target and then cast Curse of Exhaustion on a target and then cast Corruption, that corruption tick will keep the Curse of Exhaustion going, which will slow your target. But you're still going to be one global cooldown behind because you have to cast Curse of Exhaustion every time you want to slow somebody.
Right.
So still viable. Also, I believe they increased Corruption's damage, which is always nice.
Yeah. Solid.
Yeah, I'll take it.
So I looked up the gap from when Classic dropped when we were doing Nashatar, or no, what was that raid? The Water World.
Would have been Nashatar.
That was in Nashatar. Yeah,
Yep.
that was yeah.
So Classic dropped in August 26th. Then we didn't get Nyalotha till January. So it was about 3 months.
Okay. That actually makes sense because I went balls deep in Classic.
Oh, yeah?
I was in it. Yeah, I've got my level 60 Horde Rogue all fucking pre-raid bissed out, but
Yeah, I remember our Baron's time. Remember when you had your voice and you were leveling? You're like, yeah, baby.
That sounds like a fever dream or something.
Yeah.
I didn't know you till Nyalotha, my guy.
Drew's just
Oh,
making
no,
shit
no.
up.
I mean, sorry, when we made up the Might Guild on the Horde side, remember? We leveled up over there.
In retail or on Classic?
I think you're thinking of somebody else because I made a rogue on that server and I got to level 2 and I was like, yeah, fuck this. So
Yeah,
Maybe
I
it
got to
wasn't
26 in Classic and quit. I was in Ashen Vale and I was like, I'm not gonna keep doing this.
I had a blast with it. I'm actually having a blast with it right now. We re-rolled. Well, I re-rolled. Obviously, everybody's playing Alliance on Atiesh for Classic. And I've actually got a mage and a rogue going. And I'm just having fun with actually leveling up the professions and just dicking around, and
Now, is Classic
feels good.
appealing to you because it has its own merits, like you're actually having fun playing Classic, or is it because retail is in just a lull right now and there's not a whole lot that we want to do?
Both.
Okay, so Classic is legit fun and it's not just retail blows, so
Yeah,
I guess
I mean-
I'll do this.
Yeah, obviously not for everybody, but I don't have anything to do in retail. Nothing that I want to do, right? I could go queue with some fucking random N2s and have an awful time and tank my rating, but why the fuck would I want to do that? That's not fun. I could sit and wait around for 45 minutes to try to find a key, maybe, to get into, but why would I do that? That's not fun. So I'm just gonna pop on Classic and fucking struggle bus my way through leveling, and it's gonna be fucking amazing. I'm excited about linen cloth dropping because I'm a tailor. And I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Oh, I'm fighting these Defias bitches. I'm getting all this linen, dope, and I'm having a good fucking time. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
It's
things
rewarding.
were it was a lot more scarce back in the day to get resources, right? It's
But,
easy now.
There's stuff to do, and I'm doing stuff and being rewarded for it during my gameplay, so I'm having a good time.
Right, and so I guess let's dive into this TBC a little bit. So you're having fun because linen's dropping. The auction house went down Friday, so it's down for these 3 days. So as I'm
Which
leveling
blew my mind. I couldn't believe that announcement.
right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
So you can't get shit. A bag drops. I'm like, all right, I got a bag. I can get 4 more stacks of linen. So it's just this
Trade
awful
chat
world
is
right
still
now.
a thing.
But it's 8 hours to get somewhere, right? And then you gotta hopefully oh, I'm in Ironforge. You're in Stormwind. I gotta wait 10 minutes for you to come over here.
It's not 8 hours. I'm in Westfall right now. I have a flight path to fucking Stormwind.
See, I rounded up.
Yeah, 2 minutes, 8 hours, sure.
See. It's kind of like how time works now with like how long it's been since we've had content in retail. Like everything is like 9 months in my mind now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's one of the reasons that I'm not super excited about playing Classic or TBC Classic is all the systems that we have in retail now that make life so much easier aren't present, right? Like there's no LFG. You can't fly in Azeroth. None of those things exist. For some people, like that pure WoW experience is appealing. To me, it's not as much anymore.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I so I would think that I wouldn't be cool with not having those quality of life stuff, but sometimes like it does click in, which I mean probably not for you because like we've talked enough to know like you love your quality of life shit, right?
I do, dude. 100%.
But,
Yeah.
I mean, and we all do, but I think it does take stuff away from the game, and certain things really take away from the game as it played back then. So pros and cons to each, right?
Yeah. I remember sitting in trade chat for a while trying to find a tank for a dungeon, and then
Right.
having to get to that dungeon, and then somebody disconnects or leaves or whatever, and you're like, well, shit, I guess I'll go sit in trade chat for another hour trying to find somebody to replace this guy. Like that's just not fun. It's just it
Yeah.
feels like a waste of time. And we talked about this earlier, right? Like I don't have kids or a wife or anything like that, so I have some time. I just don't have the patience for it.
No, that's actually why I dipped out, because rogues were a hot commodity. Everybody was playing rogue, so it was a pain in the ass to get like, oh hey, do you need? I'm trying to do BRD, but do you need that trinket? Like, yeah, I need the trinket. Oh yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
We already got a rogue, or whatever.
Yeah.
To the point where me and my dad. That's part of the reason I was having so much fun. Is me and my dad were playing double
that's
rogue,
awesome.
just going through. But we were actually two-manning those BRD Angerforge runs because we could just kind of stealth through and like do certain shit, and then we could each evasion tank. So I would open up, evasion tank, keep the aggro while he would like get big ambushes, and then by the time my evasion was over, his ambushes would like rip aggro, and he could do it.
And you just swap back and forth, right?
Yeah. Like, oh shit, I'm in trouble. I faint. Boom. He goes. But that was fun. We used to do that. But yeah, it was a pain in the ass to get in groups, and my impatience set in, and that's ultimately what led to me saying, alright, I'm done with Classic. It was fun. Till now.
Yeah. And I guess one of the things about TBC is like you'll be able to level boost to 58. So that'll be nice. I don't know if I'm jumping ahead though. I know that we might have something on the list about pricing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about that header. So you saw the price points, right? You guys saw the 3 different price points for things, and they've made an adjustment. But
Right.
just the recap here. So the boost itself, they don't just call it a boost; they call it the Dark Portal Pass. $40, you get one of them. You can use it on one character. You can't boost all your tunes. You get one and done until Activision gets a hold of it later down the road and wants to make more money.
Yeah.
But as of right now, it's one and done. They did originally come out with the character clone option being at $35. And what this is if you want to take your character and you want to have a copy on Classic and you want to have a copy on TBC, you'd have to pay $35. For free, you could pick one or the other. But if you want to go down both roads, they were going to charge $35. I believe they dropped it down to $15 now.
Yep.
So a little more manageable, but now it kind of makes it so like you're probably going to do it on 2 characters. Like I was thinking maybe 1, but now I might do it on 2 because I'm like, well, they tricked me. I thought it was $35. I'm going to still save $5 and I can do 2 now. So like they played a mind game with me on this and they're still going to get their money out of me.
Clever.
But I mean, the
Good
thing is,
marketing.
like, are you gonna? I don't know. Like, it doesn't make sense for me to do that with anything but like your main character. You're gonna be bringing over because the other one you can just have chill back there, and then make the decision at a different point, right?
Yeah.
See, and here's the thing is I pretty much never want to play with Classic again. I hated it. But it's the what if, like, I'm never going to spend 7 hours to level a character in Classic again. So that's the other thing is, if I pay this $15, I have the option, even though I don't want to do it, but I still have the option.
So my thoughts on this actually kind of changed. I was kind of with it where like, no, dude, like you made Classic for a reason. People were gonna enjoy it. Like, put in all this time. Just like that's part of it. You leave their fucking character on Classic, but the draw of Classic to me is gonna be the nostalgia of like every once in a while. Like it's like playing an old game that you really enjoyed, right? Like, oh hey, it's been a while. I'm gonna go back and play through Mass Effect 3 or whatever because I enjoyed it. So I'm gonna do another playthrough of that. Classic is essentially the same thing to me, where it's like, if you're gonna go back, you're gonna go back for another playthrough. So I mean, that would be my draw. Is if I ever go back to Classic, I'm gonna start fresh and level a new character and get the nostalgia of like, fuck, this is rough. I don't have any bags. I'm not making any gold, and going through the pain points because that's part of the fun.
Right, but if
I
that
mean-
is the fun, they need to change it so that it more mirrors like Diablo seasons, right? Like they just have a server set up,
Yeah.
and then everybody's on the same way. Because I hate to say it, but if you go in there and you're like, okay, I'm going to start off fresh, right? With there
The
being
economy
no
is still
content,
built.
with there
Yeah.
being no content that is new in there, the only content people will have is to grief people. And it won't be the same experience leveling up, I guarantee it.
Yeah, that's true. But
So,
I don't know. I feel like if you have your main character all kitted out and ready, like, I mean, fuck, if you want to pay the $15, pay the $15 and keep it on Classic and move on to BC, or just move on to BC like you did back in the day, like it was intended.
Right.
I mean, when BC came out, there wasn't a Classic server, so I mean, this wasn't a thing. So it is still pretty new. Like a lot of people are talking about it as if it's a given. Like, oh well, obviously you would just, yeah, but this is a first time thing. This has never happened before, right?
Well, and then what do you think of this $70 deluxe edition? I'm gonna call it a toy pack because you're not buying
Get
the game.
out of here. That's what I think. $70. $70 to
Yeah,
play
if you want to,
PvC.
Well, and it's not to play
you
it.
want to
like,
buy it. Yeah.
the game doesn't cost anything. That's the thing is it's
know
a
that, but-
$70 toy pack.
It's stupid. It's ridiculous that they would even offer that.
Well, what's subscription? $15, right?
Money is money.
Yeah.
So okay, so you get a 30-day subscription. Let's cut that out. So it brings it down to $55. You're paying $55 for a toy pack then. So do you guys buy store mounts? Like is this
I have not bought a store mount.
or like the transmog toy?
What? So, what's the point in buying a store mount?
Adds one to your mount collection.
If you think a mount is cool and you want it.
But I mean, like, I don't know. My thinking behind everything that you have, and this is why I hate transmog so much, is because the entire idea that World of Warcraft used to be is you have items that other people can see that have some kind of merit to them.
Yep.
Like you would just stand in Ironforge in your full judgment set, right? And then as soon as you get in a raid, you take all that shit off because you can't heal in it, and you put on your cloth gear. But there's a certain thing like it's like, people be like, oh shit, that guy's got all his judgment, or that guy's got all his tier 3, or that guy has this mount. Oh man, that's really rare. And then you have bot mounts that look cool, but it's just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
anybody can have that. Just
But I mean, like that's how people view it. It's like, I mean, because it's still like that. Yeah, it's a cool mount, but I know that it's from the store, so like I do just want it.
I don't know. It's just like the entire. It was almost a reward system on the way you looked, right? And when they came out with transmog and the store like that, that just went away. So now, who cares? What your gear looks like because it can look like anything.
Yeah,
There's-
true.
There's only like two areas where you can still have that. Like it's the PvP Glad hitting like 1800, getting that set, and then like all the mythic gear in time, like not past expansions, but that's the only
And
way you
mounts,
get that
I mean-
effect, right?
Still achievement mounts.
And I hate to say it, but no one cares because there's so many different looks out there that no one I don't know what that gear looks like. Most people
Yeah,
don't
but
know what
it's-
that gear looks like.
It's still a merit. Like you still, I'll be in Discord with people and they're like, "Oh shit, this dude's got full fucking Glad set," you know, and like you still know like that dude's a fucking Glad, like,
But not
and
everybody.
it still has that merit.
Like
Not
how-
everybody, but
How it used to be is everyone would know,
Not everybody.
right?
Not everybody knew back then either. Like there were stupid shits that didn't know where that fucking gear came from or what it entailed. I mean,
But the thing is like there was more
not
than
much
just
different.
one person running around with it. There was like, okay, whoa, wow, look at all these guys. They have all their shit. Where'd this come from? They do some research. But
Right.
like, oh, okay, I'll never have that.
yeah,
So this is kind of like reliving the glory days thing, right? Like this is where Drew's got this. I had this elite paladin set, so everybody saw
Yeah.
me and they knew this guy was the shit. So that's maybe the different mindset behind it, like where.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just
he doesn't
Just
get to
the
swing his
entire
big dick
transmog
around
system.
anymore,
mm.
right?
I mean, nostalgia is a powerful thing, right?
Yeah.
And I'm super guilty of it. I do it all the time. I'm like, man, I remember the good old days back in Burning Crusade when blah blah blah. Like I had my full tier 6 on my warrior, and I was kind of hot shit back in the day. But like now, everybody can get kind of everything, and it's not really that hard to get. I don't do PvP,
Right.
and I still got my 1800 set, right?
And RBVs. So.
That's what I'm saying. It's still
Well, and also not to shit on you, but like the way this season's rating scaling has gone, like RPGs is so crazy. I just don't have the patience to fucking sit and wait for a decent group. Like,
yeah.
I'm so impatient when it comes to that because also it's less fun to me. I fucking love Arena. Like, I will have a blast playing Arena, but RPGs, like, it's just not as fun.
Yeah,
So,
that's fair.
I guess also what the problem
can't-
is it isn't so much
patience
the
to-
transmog, but it's also the fact that you don't have tier sets anymore. Like,
Yeah,
Right.
I think that's big. And
I mean, you still
I
have
hope-
raid sets.
but that's like, you know, it
they don't feel like raid sets though.
yeah, it's
They have
the same
a
as-
cohesive look, but not a cohesive like.
Feel, yeah.
Yeah,
it-
they don't have an effect or anything, right? They don't have tier
Yeah.
bonuses.
Well,
it's like
it's
they
a
had
raid
back
set
in Lich King, right?
transmog wise. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you get one of those, like everybody knows, oh, this guy did Nathria enough times to have gotten
Right.
the RNG that he got all this loot. Which I
But
still don't have
think
on my Warlock,
that's-
by the way.
I was really hoping for tier sets coming back in 9.1, but we should be seeing it for 9.2, which is, I think, it's cool, depending on their implementation. I feel like the way Blizzard has designed in the past couple expansions, like, I don't think the implementation is going to be the same, and I'm kind of iffy on if it even ends up working or not.
I mean, I guess one of the things that I don't really think about that often is how should they implement tier bonuses? Like, should it be a boost to your already established rotation? Should it be something that changes your gameplay potentially, like a trinket might?
Changes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I mean, like that's
Like
how,
it used to be.
like essences,
I
and
make
Azure Power
sure-
and shit like that, right?
Yeah, a mixture between whatever. Like every spec is going to be probably something different. I mean, well, it's obviously going to be something different every tier. So, you know, based on what you come up with, it could just be something that's like a passive boost, or it could be like, dude, I will never forget. Like my favorite moments in WoW is something like WoD, Hellfire Citadel. I was playing Marksman Hunter, dude. I got my 4th piece of my tier, and at the time, the 4-set bonus was your aim shot was instant cast now. So, like, how fucking huge that was to have
Yeah.
your tier 4 or your 4-set of that tier, like, it was insane. You'll never play Marksman Hunter anywhere similar to how you did at that time. It was
So, in my
think
opinion,
that was
they've
so
had the same they've had the same tier set bonuses. It's just they've called them different things. They call it Azerite armor. They call it your conduits.
They've all come back. Yeah.
It's the same idea. It's just they want to fool you. In my opinion, they want to fool you into thinking that it's something new.
Yeah, here's this cool new thing, except like it's just something that we took away from you 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And we expect you to be like super excited. Well, you are super excited that like, oh hey, this is back, this is awesome. Or if you're seeing it for the first time, whatever. But it's like, no, that's something that just should have been in the fucking game, because it was, and it should have stayed.
And I mean, I'm gonna go down this road. So, in my opinion, the problem right now is they have systems upon systems upon systems that each affect a different spell for 4 different covenants differently, right? So all of their time is going to balance, which is going to be impossible to balance. You can't balance that because it's so crazy, right? So all their time is going towards that and effort, and everything that we want, like tier sets, like the actual art, different things like that, is being pushed to the background for these stupid systems that no one wants.
Yeah, I think
System
that
fixes.
player power needs to come from just a couple of things, which is gear and talents, basically. That's really about it. I don't like all this borrowed power stuff. Like legendaries are cool, covenants are all right, but like that's all stuff that's going to be going away at the end of the expansion. And I think that it should be. I mean, I guess if I'm going to start doing the nostalgia thing, it should be like it was back in the day, where if you had the best gear and you chose the right talents and you played your class correctly, then you performed the best, right? Not because you chose Night Fae as a boomkin so you can convoke and just top the meters.
Yeah. Or even Legion, dude. Like Legion got a lot of flack at first because of just the acquisition of the legendaries.
Yeah.
Other than that, dude, Legion was fucking honestly. So the reason BFA was so bad, amongst all the other, obviously tons of reasons why BFA was bad, right? But the main thing from day one was it's not fucking Legion, because at the end of Legion, every single spec that you could play style wise or just class design wise was fucking perfect. Like they nailed it. Everything was so fucking fun and just perfect and fluid and felt good and had interactions and everything. Like it was nailed down perfect. Just in time to fucking take it away. Just in time to ruin it all. So like even something like Legion, a little bit of borrowed power is cool, like with the
artifact
weapons, and also like the implementation of that, where okay, you know, Wake of Ashes for Ret Paladin, that was your ability, right? Like it was very important to the class design, so we're gonna keep that around. We're gonna implement that in some way going forward, which they're gonna have to end up doing with some of these Covenant abilities. Convoke is gonna have to be something. It's gonna be there some way. Divine Toll, some kind of implementation is gonna have to be there. Like, dude, Ret Paladin would be garbage boring without Divine Toll.
Yeah, which is a design
so boring,
right? That is because talents and gear.
These specs only work because of borrowed power.
Yeah, which
I
think
only work because of the borrowed power.
I'm not a game designer. It's just my opinion. I don't like that implementation at all. I wasn't even real crazy about artifact.
They should work. Yeah, I think that they should work baseline, which even like with Legion, it had its flaws, but most specs, like, they worked and they were good just with your artifact weapon. Like, as soon as you get your artifact weapon and you get your ability, they worked, and then it just got better. Like, it just you know, more fun, whatever. So I think that is where, if we could get to something like that, that would be perfect.
All right, so takeaway: Hacked wants us to be in Shadow Legion, so hopefully that'll be coming soon. Back on the TBC topic, so everybody's gonna be playing TBC, at least dipping their toe in the water? What's the plan? All four of you guys in, or three of us, I guess?
I might. Yeah. Like I love Burning Crusade. But and here's the thing, it's the nostalgia factor again, right? Like when I was playing Burning Crusade, I was in my kind of late teens, maybe early 20s or something like that. Life was much different than it is now. I didn't have rent to pay, bills to worry about, all that kind of stuff, right? So it was a completely different time of my life, and maybe that's why I'm looking back on it so fondly. I spent a ton of time playing BC. I loved it. I cleared all the content and stuff like that, and it was fun. But it's like we were talking about earlier, without all these quality of life systems that Blizzard has put in place since then, I don't know if it'll be the same experience that I had when I was younger, you know?
Oh, for sure.
It'll be the same experience.
it's-
I may just not appreciate it like I did.
I mean, by default, it's not going to be the same experience because BC was not a time where people were mining and maxing. And people.
I think that's when min-maxing sort of started with like the elitist jerks forums and things like that, right? Land
little
Solo
bit, but-
doing his warrior spreadsheet. Like for me at least, that was kind of a big part of it. Getting to hit cap, expertise cap. I guess armor pen was Wrath of the Lich King, so that's
But
about
that's
it.
a lot different than like min maxing is now.
Okay, yeah, sure.
You know,
Because
and
we're going to go into
I'm
BC.
saying you have
people are
the
gonna
type of
figure
players
stuff out.
now that will go back and do this, and it was the same problem in vanilla, in my opinion. And so the content is not going to have the same challenges as it did because everybody, first off, they min max. Second off, know the mechanics. Like if you went through there before, and so there's no learning the new mechanics like there usually is. So it's not going to be the same that way, but I think I'm going to play Burning Crusade. I didn't really play vanilla. Like I leveled up a little bit. And the main reason is because there's just so much broken in vanilla. And I think that they addressed a lot of that in Burning Crusade. Like for instance, just for me, because I like tanking, I played a paladin in vanilla, and there was no way that you could tank like a raid boss consistently back when it launched. Now people are doing it now because
They figured
everybody
shit
knows
out.
everything.
They know how, yeah.
Yeah, but back in the day, that just wasn't a thing.
Yeah, your buff bots back in vanilla.
Well, and here's the thing: it was nobody knew it though. Like nobody knew how, and
Yeah,
community
yeah.
perception is a huge thing.
yeah, and going into Burning Crusade, it at least for the tanks, it made it so that you can have several different types that are going to be accepted. Not because they're just accepted, but because over time, they've proven to be the best. Like for instance, Paladin tanks in BC are probably one of the best ones you can have.
They're kings of AoE tanking.
Yeah, definitely. And that was when I actually started tanking, and I was able to do all the content as a main tank. So
Yep. Yeah, I was our main tank in Burning Crusade, and going up through like Karazhan, I was a warrior, but our off tank was a paladin, and I would not want to do something like Karazhan without a paladin tank, because as a warrior, there was no way I could keep threat on everything. For trash, at least, right? Boss is a different story, but definitely on trash.
Right, and that's the night and day difference from Classic to TBC, because I rated twice on my Druid in MC, and I guess I'm going to go over the elaborate rotation for a Druid tank in Classic. So you'd set your bars up and you'd put Maul on like whatever key you can press over and over without getting carpal tunnel, but it didn't feel powerful because Maul's not like I press this and I swipe harder. No, it's I press this and my next auto attack gets stronger. So like every 3 auto attacks, it could be stronger, and that was it. Like
Sounds awesome.
that was the most ridiculous thing. Like I almost deleted my character. Like I was so pissed that I put like 7 days of playtime to get max level, and this is it. Like,
Well, also you look back at some of the content like raid wise, like encounter wise, right? And based on nostalgia, you're like, oh yeah, this fight was really cool. It brought. No, it's not. The fights are kind of fucking tank and spank, dude. Like, there's not much going on with a lot of these encounters.
Yep.
So, like, I plan on playing BC. I was actually hoping we would all converge on like a PvP server, because in BC, what I did is I lived in Hellfire Peninsula. That's all I did. I was in Hellfire Peninsula, and I ganked all day, and it was a blast. I had so much fun.
Yeah.
That was my shit. And that's probably still what I'll do. I'll probably hang out at a fucking tower and just kill people.
Just gank people.
That's what rogues do.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Especially back in BC.
Yeah, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be so much fun.
Fun until they call Gildan on you. You're like,
Yeah,
this guy's
and then-
fucking ganking me. All my friends, come on.
Dude, you better bring at least. Dude, rogues were so like. You get Cloak of Shadows, and from then, dude, I was unkillable. Like, you need at least 3 good players, or you need to bring in a 4th. So, until then, I'm just gonna be fucking running through everybody. It's gonna be a blast.
I remember getting ganked. I was a warrior, so I didn't do much ganking myself, but I remember getting ganked. When I first got into Burning Crusade, this was after Illidan was killed for the first time. Like, seeing Nihilum kill Illidan for the first time and seeing the warrior tier 6 gear, that's what made me want to play WoW. Also, Rain wouldn't stop talking about it. He and I have been friends for 20-something years at this point.
Yeah.
But he got me into the game. I started playing after Illidan was killed. And I played a tank in Burning Crusade and up through Wrath of the Lich King. But yeah, I didn't do any ganking. I got killed a lot.
Yeah. As a paladin, I just I have the bubble hearth.
Yeah,
So yeah.
Yep. Cheaty paladins.
was Mass Dispel and Shattering Throw, was that BC? Or was that not a
No,
thing?
that was Wrath, I think.
Nope, there's nothing you can do.
There's no way to stop it.
Yeah, like you could go in there, hit it, start dancing in Orgrimmar, and then hearth.
Yeah.
So,
I was actually about to say, until you you get those paladins trying to rub your face in it, and you're just spamming something, just waiting, and you'll catch them when bubble ends before they get the hearth off.
Oh yeah.
That's always so fun.
So we're playing on Atesh?
Atiesh.
Atish.
Is this
yep, on Alliance side.
is this a final answer? Is there any room for negotiation? Like,
Nope, they've already got the
I
guild.
mean, we could play wherever. I mean, if we want to set up a horde side on a PvP server, we could do that too. But
I also don't think, like, we're gonna talk about this and get something set up. No, not many people are gonna stick around. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Like, something cool
Yeah.
is gonna come out on retail, and we're gonna have a new raid, and we're gonna do new shit, and
yeah, it's gonna be a
so it doesn't matter. Like, anybody who, and that's like from Risen's perspective. He's like, no, I plan on like going hard in BC, so this is where I'm at. This is where I'm playing. If anybody wants to join, then yeah, I'll set something up here. But yeah, it's kind of
And I think that was also a big decision making factor too, is if you have someone that is going hard on that, then it's good to have that as kind of where you
That's
want
true.
to base your stuff. I think even if we decide that we want to do this and then we go away, eventually we'll probably come back after 9.1 stuff is kind of in a lull,
Right.
you know? And it's good to have that person on there at least, you know?
right. So when we get to that like 4 or 5 month content drought and a 9-month content patch,
Oh God,
Yeah.
I hope not. Come on, guys. Yeah.
I mean, I would be surprised if Blizzard is releasing things at a faster cadence than that.
you think this is the
They've
new
been-
normal?
I hope I'm wrong, man. I really do. But it seems like I don't know if it's just a staffing issue or what the deal is, but things are moving more slowly.
So
Yeah, they are behind. Well, right now they're also working on a lot of like. I will commend them for this. They've done a lot of mid-patch tuning.
Sure, okay. I mean, like 9.0.5 was nice.
Yeah, well, they've done a lot more, like just even through 9.0, just like hotfix patch, like tuning patches, basically.
Sure, tuning patches are great. It's not content though.
No, it's not content, but I will say that they're at least trying to get some of like the base mechanics working, which content is obviously the bread and butter. Like even if your mechanics aren't working right, it's still going to be new content and people are going to enjoy it. But they're going to enjoy it more if like my class is working correctly, or I can play this because it's not fucking dumpster tier and whatever. Like
Right, but like if
I'm going to
mechanics
enjoy
aren't
it more
working,
if I'm playing.
yeah, but if mechanics aren't working properly, then I mean, should we even consider that like a finished or completed patch? Like, should
No.
that have gone to release?
No.
yeah,
Right.
like they say, we're playing a beta.
Yeah, we are.
We're paying to beta test for Blizzard. And
So
we're paying twice.
like, don't get
We're
me
paying for the
wrong.
expansion and monthly, and
I mean, don't get me
microtransactions.
wrong. I enjoyed, Nathria. It was a good time. Like,
I enjoyed it more because of
Um,
who I'm playing with, though.
right. Yeah, and I think like conquering Nathria with might, like it was fun.
Yeah,
Like our raid was a lot of fun.
like I was
But
telling
I think
Kat,
the fights, like the encounters, are always good. The encounters and like raid design, encounters, dungeons. That's never even in question, right? Like that shit is always fucking bonkers good. It's just the base game, like it's class design and tuning and shit. But like, I mean, the encounters are always, for the most part.
here's the deal. As
Oh,
far as
good.
like how long each patch is going to take, let's go ahead and give the development team a pass, because from the release of 8.3 up until now has been COVID.
yes,
We're coming out of that now.
you're right.
So it makes sense that you wouldn't have as long in between content updates, right? If it continues
is-
to be that way, then we know that that wasn't an issue, that there's something else going on.
Yeah, for what it's worth,
Well-
like I don't get anything done nearly as efficiently now at work. So the fact that they were able to not only complete but release Shadowlands during the pandemic, like yeah, they deserve credit for that for sure.
Well, and that's also kind of my point on why I was saying like I commend them a little bit for more regular tuning mid-patch. So that's something that they just don't really ever do.
Well, it's because they had to do it.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
they kind of
but-
shot themselves in the foot because they don't have as big of a testing team, because they fired everybody.
Not even just like like BM stuff. You could let BM like sit in the fucking dumpster, right? They do it all the time. They let specs sit in the dumpster, but they're doing a lot better. They're like, okay, this spec is a little too high. It's kind of an outlier. We're gonna take it down. Like they've been doing more regular tuning than
Yeah.
they normally would.
So
And balance isn't that all that much out of whack than what it has been in the past, and they've done nothing about it, right? So
So
I'll give them a commendation
dumpster
for that.
specs, you are like, I guess in the dumpster spec, you chose BM over survival. Like that's the one you said was the one that needed help.
I said BM because BM is the one that got buffs.
Okay.
That's the one that
I
they
think
did
they-
the tuning passes
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. They just left survival in the dumpster.
Yeah,
Just that
I think we're gonna have to see a
stepchild.
rework on that spec soon, like sooner than you think.
No, they've got notes up for survival buffs actually. I don't know if they went live or if they are 491, but they're getting some love.
Okay, nice. So, I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. So, WoW takes some like top tier add-ons and kind of integrates it into the game. Like we now see Raider IO, it's being put into the game. What are your thoughts on them actually making that group finder option work? Like,
There's a lot they need to do to make that more functional, for sure.
like my biggest pet peeve is if I want to do a key and I want to like get one that's just stupid easy. Like I want to search for like a 1 or a 2, or not a 1, but like a 2 or a 3, and it's all 13s. Like it,
Yep.
and it doesn't even go like the actual number. Like if I search for a 14, it gives me like 13s and 15s. Like I don't know how the actual function of that is supposed to work. But
Yeah, so it'll give you plus or minus 1 on that. But the thing is, it doesn't search only the title of the posting, as far as I can tell. It'll also look inside at the description. So if you do, like, I was looking for a 14 or 15 the other day, and somebody had put, like, I want to push this key from 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, because it was a 10. And that still showed up in my search results because they had put the integer 14 in their description. So it still showed up when I searched for it. Yeah.
And all they really have to do is just make a field that you select what level key it is, and then make that searchable.
What they need to do
When you
is
select Mythic Keystone, you say, yeah, you put it into the default LFG.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, you have to
convert-
pick what dungeon, right? So just add on what level.
what they need to
level.
do is like they need to have a button that says push this button to use my keystone for this LFG, and then it auto populates everything for you. Like it puts in your dungeon, it puts in that it's Mythic Plus, it puts in that it's a level 15. Like we shouldn't be even creating our own entries for this. I don't think it should be something that's automatically
And if
done
you-
when you form a group.
Yeah, and if you want to edit the description or the note or change the title up a little bit, you do that afterwards, right?
Sure, but there should be some fields that you can't mess with, like the name of the dungeon and the level of the
Right.
keystone, right?
So there you go, babe. That's what you got to do. Just make an app or an add-on for WoW that does that, and then that's your ticket to being a millionaire. Boom, right there.
It's a good idea. I'll get right on it.
right, make those free WoW add-ons. Make your money.
Yep.
But no, Link. So we talked about this when it came out with the Raider IO coming into WoW, and I fucking knew exactly why, and so they released the notes afterwards about how the upgrade system was going to work with the, Mythic Plus score coming in. And that's exactly what I said.
So is it not going to be like 5s, 10s? It's going to be like a score now? But is it going to be like the scored wall 5s?
Yeah, it's gonna be tied to the score now, and it's gonna be
Yep.
like the way PvP rating works. So there's gonna be more levels.
It won't go down though, right? Like you can't lose rating in Mythic Plus.
No, I don't think
Right.
so.
I don't think so. Yeah.
How great would that be? You leave a key and you go.
Can you imagine like you deplete a 15 and you lose rating?
Oh god, the community is so toxic now. Imagine
Yeah,
if somebody
it'd be way
takes your
worse.
key rating. Like, there's gonna be so many clips out there. Of people just
It'd be, it'd be
Yeah,
like
that'd
playing
be-
Overwatch.
right.
So I
Yeah.
think people would be probably upset about this because they wouldn't understand it at first. But I think they really need to, like, as far as the Mythic score goes, for the upgrades tied to it, they really need to bump that up. Like, the upgrades need to be tied to higher scores than you would think, mostly because of the way they're trying to implement like different scores for the same like you basically have 2 scores for each dungeon based on fortified and tyrannical. So I don't think that like just do every dungeon on +5 and that gives you enough score for like this upgrade, right? Like I think maybe for this specific upgrade you need to do every dungeon on a +5 and then maybe even a couple more at +5 with the other affix, right? Like I don't think it should just be a shoe-in. I don't just think you should just get it for like if they're implementing it that way.
What they should do is make it so that you can upgrade gear that you have a +5 for that dungeon. Like if that gear drops from that dungeon, you have a +5, then you can upgrade the gear from that dungeon. And only that gear.
Me and Hack have the same look on our face, I think.
Yeah, I don't
I'm not sure I
I guess I
follow.
don't follow.
It's
Yeah, I don't
like with like the other side, it has certain it has a certain loot table, right?
Right.
And so if you get your qualification for getting that dungeon, then you instantly can upgrade items that dropped in that dungeon or that are in that loot table.
To what though?
To basically what it is now.
Wait,
but
so do you mean like so you've done it on a +5 already, and then you do it on like a +2 and you get that piece, and you can upgrade that piece from that dungeon to the +5 level?
right.
Okay. I get that. I think
don't know,
that's
it gives
I
you more
agree,
of a,
but I
like,
think it would be too I don't think it would ever happen because it kind of sounds a little convoluted and
maybe
people
so,
wouldn't
but it also
understand.
gives you kind of
Yeah.
like achievements that you can get for each dungeon, you know, rather than okay, I've got all 15s except for this one, but I can't do anything. Like, or I have 17s here and I have everything on a 17 except for this 14.
Yeah,
In my opinion, that's just stupid.
But you would be so because you have all those other 17s, your level 14 dungeon doesn't matter as much because you're probably already at that level to where like you don't care about that dungeon. You already have the score to be able to upgrade. So
Still
that's
need
kind of
the-
the draw of it is that, oh, if I have all 10s, but then I do a 15 of this dungeon and that puts me at that next level, like I didn't need the other 7 dungeons at a higher level because I got this 115 and that bumped me up alone, right? So that kind of does to me give you kind of a dungeon to dungeon like reward system, right? Because technically, since you did this one on 15, like you got rewarded as fuck for doing Halls of Atonement on 15 because you haven't done any of the other 15s, but it still puts at that Mythic Plus score to be able to upgrade.
Okay.
I agree with you. I just think that there's probably different ways to look at it, and any way you do it, it's going to be convoluted. And
Yeah, it's Blizzard, man.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know, like, as far as like the reward for doing the 20s and getting the teleport to the dungeon is amazing or not.
That's out of reach for a lot of people.
yeah. I think it's just there as like some kind of reward for pushing that high.
For what it's worth, the 8-hour cooldown resets, I think, when you time a dungeon, right?
I think it's just.
I think so. Yeah, if you time the dungeon that you go to, it resets. or
Yeah.
It's
something.
just completing it. Like, so you go to the
Is that what it
dungeon.
is?
If you finish the dungeon, now you can go to another dungeon. I think it's just
Okay.
completing it. But it's
Yeah,
not
like it's fine that they have that sort of reward in place. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that's currently in the game that is out of my reach. Like, I'm never going to be a cutting edge raider. I'm never going to get Hall of Fame. I probably won't do plus 20s. Maybe. Like, I don't think that I'm not good enough. I just don't think it'll happen because
Yeah, I could. I'm just
Yeah.
not gonna.
I just don't think it'll happen. I don't think I'm going to want to push that high.
Exactly.
Like, you would need a dedicated group, I think, for that kind of stuff. I mean, there are people who could probably pug plus 20s, but they're all people who have been doing 20s for a while and beyond that, right?
hmm
So yeah, that's probably out of reach for most people.
fair. All right, let's sneak this bad boy in here. So, WoW events this week. Get excited, boys. It's the week everybody waits for. It's Pet Battle Bonus Week. Who is going to get it on in this?
I don't care.
We don't have our.
Where's Murloc? Get him in here. He
Yeah.
cares.
No. Yeah, we're down Murloc. We don't really have our pet battle expert anymore.
Yeah, honestly, like sometimes I accidentally get into a pet battle, but only because I'm in an area and they have a quest, and I think, oh, I'll pick up this quest,
Yeah.
and it ends up
Oh,
being
yeah.
a pet battle when I immediately surrender.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I accidentally get into a pet battle. Like, I walk into a bar and I see the snake.
Oh,
over there.
shit,
I'm like,
no.
you
He insulted
motherfucker.
somebody.
Like,
Yeah, it's just tough because like either you're into it or you're just not. There's no hey, I'll maybe do this. It's like either you're into pet battles or else you just don't even know they exist.
Yeah.
And there's no in between.
It's one of the features that I've almost completely ignored since they were
Same.
invented, right? Like I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So
They're
you've
cool.
got-
Like most of the time, I don't even
That's
summon
one
a
of
pet.
those. Yeah, that's one of those different strokes for different folks types of
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah, the
Like
concept
I'm
is
glad that it's there. I'm glad that it's there because if you're playing Warcraft and that's part of the game that you enjoy, I'm glad that it's there for you, and I'm glad that they like put time into it to make a system out of it, and so that you enjoy it. I
Yeah,
just don't.
I don't care.
It's just not for me.
There are definitely people who do, and they've got serious collections, and they put a lot of time and stuff into it.
Mhm.
So for them, like that's awesome. That's cool. Just not something that I've ever wanted to do. I don't have the patience for it. I also don't like. It's like Pokemon, right? Where there are different types that are effective against other types and things like that.
Right.
I might just be too stupid to have that all figured out and memorized. I don't get it, so I don't really worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like if they were to make it like on your phone or something and then give you actual like maybe gold rewards that you can
Oh, there you
get,
go. Yeah.
then I
Make
think
it part
you'd see a lot of
gaming
people
app.
on it.
So make
Yeah.
like a mobile WoW game, or put in the companion app where you can actually do pet battles there.
Yeah,
That'd be kind of cool.
but
Yeah.
I don't know. For most people, I think it's just not what they really look for in WoW. You know.
Yep.
But I mean, it's one of those systems where if that's not what you look for, don't do it. And
Yeah,
you're good.
exactly.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not a big deal either way. I think a lot of
No, like-
people, and I can understand this. They feel like Pet Battle Week, when that's your reward, that it's kind of a draw from everything else that you could possibly get that week. Because there's nothing like all the other weeks, right? Like you can actually improve your player power in theory.
There's like 1 week that you can do that.
Well, no, there's PvP week, right? And then there's the dungeon one.
Yeah, that doesn't like
Doesn't work in Mythic
the
Plus
PvP.
though.
The PvP week doesn't give you anything.
Yeah, but I'm not saying for you guys or for me, but let's just say like average player that just got to level 60. Those
Here's the
weeks
thing.
can improve their player power.
I think we are the average player, honestly. Like, some of us go a little further and beyond, like, but the way we actually play, like, I like to do my research and like think about WoW a different way, but as far as my actual gameplay goes, I'm the average player, right? So
I don't know if I
really-
would agree with that
Yeah, I don't
necessarily.
know. I think you're kind of lowballing
Okay.
yourself there.
I think that clearing heroic and getting like ahead of the curve before the next patch, right? I don't know if that's something that most people attain. There's got to be metrics on this, like how many profiles have attained
I'm sure there are.
NPC, right?
I'm sure there are.
But I think that there's 1,200 guilds who have cleared Mythic Denathrius so far. There's significantly more that have cleared Heroic, I'm sure.
Right.
But even then, I would almost guarantee that the number of players relative to the total is far fewer that have cleared ahead of the curve.
Right. Well, I guess my main point is like you've got Time Walking Week, right? That'll give you what a 200 piece, like
Right.
a normal raid piece.
Yeah, something like
Then like the only week that's like a legitimate player power increase is the 4 mythic dungeons for a heroic item. Like
Well, the PvP
I mean,
week,
yeah, but it gives you like 60 conquest and like 200 honor.
yeah, but it's still stuff that you could put towards your player power, right?
I mean, yeah, no, that's true. That's fair.
Okay, so just real quick, there are, as far as ahead of the curve for Sire Denathrius goes, which is the heroic kill, 24% of profiles have attained that. And then Cutting Edge, according to Wowhead, has been attained by 1% of profiles. So I would say heroic raiders are in the top 25% of players right now.
See, I disagree. Like active players, though, like
I mean, yeah, it's 24% of profiles that have been scraped by Wowhead, right? Have that achievement.
but I think even like I would at least say 25% of those aren't fully active, and if they were, they might dabble
Yeah,
because
and people have different
at least
goals,
in some
right?
heroic, not necessarily AOTC, but like even if you've killed, 8 out of 10 heroic, right? Like you're still kind of in that average point where like most of your gear is like you're 210, right? Like you're not gonna need a 200 item level piece. So I would say like AOTC would at least be, or not even AOTC, but like a heroic raider would be like at the 50% mark. I might be wrong though. That's just maybe it's just the circles I've always ran with, right?
Right.
I've
Yeah.
always
So I
played
mean,
with.
exactly, because it's people like us who have historically attained things like ahead of the curve. Maybe that's why you
Right.
feel like you would consider yourself an average player. I don't think that's the case. Realistically, I think that most people who raid with us are generally better than the average WoW player. I don't have numbers to back that up. It's just anecdotal. That's just how I feel about it. But
No, I'm cool with that too. I'm cool with calling all my friends fucking better than average. Hell yeah, y'all are dope.
I would contend that we are.
So,
Yeah,
but I
I'm cool
guess
with it.
Drew, you're kind of pointing out like player power, where it's actual items in the game as opposed to whatever pet battle gives you.
Right. And I mean, like, whether it's like an alt or whatever, even on an alt when it's pet battle week, there's nothing for you as a new 60.
That's true.
So
That's fair.
Yeah, you can increase the power of your pets, but not player power.
yeah, which I don't
Yeah,
understand
but I
why
think
they
the
can't just
weekly is
have
also
pet,
supposed.
just have pet battle week every week, and
Right.
have
Yeah.
us
Or
get
have it be
something else,
secondary,
you know?
or not even every week, like every two. Like what's the other thing? Like World Quest week.
Yep.
That's
Yeah, you
another
get
one that's
increased
kind of right? Like especially
yeah.
now because you don't get anything from that.
Well, you
So-
get Paragon boxes from rep. Like if you
Yeah.
you can get the 10,000 rep
that's
down exalted
That's strictly like mounts and pets and rep stuff,
if
right?
you're lucky. Yeah.
So I feel like, as a collector, that could be something that you bounce between like, okay, we got World Quest Week, Pet Battle Week, World Quest Week, Pet Battle Week, on top of
Yeah.
cycling through the player power weeks of like time walking, PvP. Excuse me, sorry.
Oh, sure. I
you
see
know,
what you're
Mythic
saying. Okay.
Dungeons, whatever.
So almost like affixes, where like 1 week we got tyrannical, the next week we got fortified, but with these world buffs, so to speak, where 1 week you're getting more rep from World Quest, and the next week your pet battles are getting increased XP, whatever the hell they give it, right?
Also, to Drew's point, I see what you mean too, because you're doing content for that weekly that's also giving you chances at
Yeah.
player power. So like you're doing PvP to earn, like so you're earning honor and conquest to earn honor and conquest, right?
Right.
So I mean,
Yeah,
the
it just
avenues
feels
of
bad when
completing
it,
those weeklies are also,
yeah, it just feels bad when it's a week where you don't get anything. You know?
Heck, you better be careful with that lighter, dude.
so every week.
So thoughts on this? There's 3 tiers in WoW right now, right? There's rating, PvP, and Mythic Plus. It's kind of like 3 endgame tiers.
Yeah, now, I think something that's kind of going on in the community is that it's still PvP versus PvE rather than, RBGs, arenas, Mythic Plus, rating. So, which I'm kind of still in that camp personally, but that's because I've never taken Mythic Plus as like the end all be all, like that's my content. I've always used Mythic Plus as like just an avenue for improvement for rating. So, and that's where like a lot of the community perception comes to, is like PvE is Mythic Plus and rating, but Mythic Plus is for rating, right? Like rating is still the end game.
That's how I treat it too. That's why I did PvP. in the
That's
first
how
place.
I treat it. Yeah.
You see, it's really weird because that's not how Blizzard puts it, because their esport is Mythic Plus. It's not rating.
That's
Sure.
true. Well, and I think that's just an opportunistic thing for them. Like that's content that they can create and
I mean, because like if you
kind of
have
back.
because if they wanted to, they could have Race for World First, but they don't. Other companies have that.
It would ruin
you
it.
know?
It would ruin it, and that's the reason they don't do it. Like if they
Yeah.
actually put any sort of if they put their fingers in it at all, it would ruin the Race for World First.
And if you guys remember a while back, like at BlizzCon, I think, and other places too, they've done raid races where they'll have teams go through and see how quickly they can clear a raid. And those got a lot of attention. Those were a lot of fun to watch. I think if Blizzard were to do something like that, I don't know if it would work for the Race of World First, where they have like a tournament realm or whatever. Probably not. But if they did things like raid races, I think that would be a lot of fun to watch. I get a kick out of that kind of stuff, at least.
Same.
No, but like with another thing that I'd like to bring up too is like the Race for World First. That needs to be regulated if you're gonna make that be like what it's about. Because the current
they
state
don't
right
do
now,
that. Like that's
it basically-
community perception.
basically it's not really what they're doing, because they're going to other realms, they're buying BOEs, they're doing all this stuff, and it's not really an even playing field, right? It's like if we were to get 20 people in Might and be like, okay, and they were the same skill level as people in like Method or these other places, we wouldn't stand a chance because of that factor of them being
Sure.
able to.
Well, they've
outbuy
actually
us,
talked about that, like
basically.
Limit and what are they called now?
Echo?
Echo. Yeah, so Limit and Echo are like the kings, and pretty much no guild for a while. Like it'll take some build up, but as of right now, like no guild's gonna come close, because guess where Limit and Echo get their players from the lower contender guilds, and
Yeah.
so it's just gonna be a cycle. And I mean that's why
they have the
Method was.
infrastructure in place.
That's why Method was the fucking king for so long. I mean, they reigned supreme for that reason.
Yep, and it goes in cycles, right? Like you had Insidia for a while, or Nihilum for a while, then Insidia, then Paragon.
Paragon.
Yeah. And then now we're seeing Limit as sort of the reigning champions. It'll change eventually, but it's because a lot of these guilds have the infrastructure in place to recruit the best players from other guilds. They've got the gold to back up their BOEs. They've got deals with communities that do sales and things like that to back up the gold purchases, things like that, right?
On top of just the prep work that they put in. Like
Well,
they put in
Yeah,
so
plus
much
they're just
work
some of the best players
outside
in the
of-
game, right?
And that's what I'm saying.
outside
They
of their
need to be-
gameplay. They put in the work.
Yeah.
Like they're working on next tier. As soon as fucking Denathrius went down, they've been working on next tier.
They started doing sales right
started
away
prep.
and everything, yeah.
They started doing prep right away. They've been prepping, and that's where it comes in. Like,
Yeah, but there's no reason why all that shouldn't be on a tournament realm.
I
then
think
you-
it would
Even
ruin
if
it.
it's not on a tournament realm, the fact that it's not a global release at the same time for new raids,
No,
that's
and-
a big problem.
yeah, because if you made a tournament realm, then you could release it at the same time for EU as you do for NA.
They could do
And
that
then-
anyway, they just don't.
Yeah, and then you could also regulate all the gold and people doing stuff outside to get them
Sure.
the equipment and everything. I just think that it would be a lot cleaner if they were to do that.
Yeah. But I mean,
Well, so part of the world first race is, their prep work in. Oh shit!
what did
what
you break?
I'm a
Hack or
dipshit.
something.
There we go.
I was
Okay.
waiting for a fight to, like,
But-
yeah. Hack out another one.
But a lot of it's the prep work, and I think doing tournament realm takes away from that. Like having their raiders ready and like all the prep work that goes into, getting their alts ready and all this. Because tournament realm, like, you just kit your character out with what it is, and part of the world first race is that they're doing this with the base like lowest fucking item level, and they like that's why it's a race, because it's not really supposed to be killable yet, right? And it hasn't been like that in the past. That's why this was actually one of the best world first races with like Sludge Fist as damn near unkillable, like barely killable, and they pulled it off because they're just fucking good and they did it perfect, and like they needed perfect planning of cooldowns and all this, like, and it was the prep work that went into it.
Yeah.
Right. So I think if you throw it on the tournament realm, and you put everything in an even playing field on that end of it, that ruins what the world first race is and what it always has been, because it's also not something that Blizzard wants to back. They're never going to do this because they don't want to. They don't want to back it. That's a community event, and that's a community, like, it's not, you need it to be on live servers, because world first on a tournament realm, that means nothing, right? Like, to me, that means nothing.
Yeah.
We're talking about world first on live, like your actual character on the live server, like,
Yeah, it's almost
because
like if
it's
it were
different
a
for
tournament
arena,
realm,
right?
it would be like almost an unfair advantage if you could go on the tournament realm, just kit your character out with whatever item level gear, the max from the previous tier, for example, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because not everybody on live realms is going to have that, and they're competing in the same sense for this world first. So, I see what you mean.
I don't know. I just think maybe with the ability to clone your character over for $15.
Yeah,
There we go.
You know.
To compete in the world first
there it is.
race.
It all comes back.
There's a paywall to get into the tournament.
Oh my god! I wouldn't be surprised if they gave us access to tournament realms for like running our own MDIs or whatever for a fee like that.
Pay it. Unfortunately, I would be mad, but I'd pay it.
Yeah, I probably would too.
Well, and as we've seen from prior podcasts, Blizzard does follow us and watch, so see that to come out.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll
one
just give
based
you
on
a
them,
call.
based on them watching us, and then two based on their turnaround time. So 9 months from now, you'll see that roll out, and we lost the hacked. Hopefully, he will come back here
He'll be
shortly.
back. He probably fell asleep again.
This mid sentence, he's just like,
All right. Well, why he gets back, I guess we've touched on a lot of the topics, but we're kind of getting to that point where we're pushing the limits on the show here. Any topics you guys want to touch on? Any other?
I have the winner of the
The raffle, of course.
raffle.
All right. Well, let's see.
Your
if I-
might. And the winner is Bloodsporter.
Woohoo!
Just
talked about
kidding.
this.
It's not him. It's not him. It's not him this time. It's actually Kander Kane
Nice.
for the Guild Quest Hypnosis Goggles.
That was a good one. I enjoyed that one.
So make sure that you guys are doing the World Quest, because you get a ticket and then you can win like Kander Kane.
Yeah, and those are the things
Can
that
I
I
game one?
really- Yeah,
You guys, fuck yeah!
good. Cander's one of those people that I like having around. She's got a nice, calming presence.
Yes.
Also, she's hilarious.
She's fucking
Pretty
funny,
awesome.
man.
She's great.
Yeah, I've met her one time in real
Healthy
life,
boy.
and then
Poor
all this
Kander.
stuff happened.
She's taking a road trip to Nebraska. Woo! There's a whole lot of nothing between where she is and Nebraska.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right.
Growing up in the Midwest, I know that feeling.
So this blood guy won quite a few. I feel like Kander's the other top tier for like quite a few wins. This number 3 for her? Like,
I don't know. You guys keep track?
Yeah. There should be something here, but I do not have access to it.
I don't think she was one.
I won once.
But yeah, I mean, like, yeah, Kander does a lot. Like, she always does Guild Quests, so that's going to increase her,
so more
her
tickets.
chances too.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. There's a couple of people who always do those, and you get at least one raffle ticket for it, depending on what the guild quest is. Sometimes, if I do like a scavenger hunt where I say go find these 3 areas in WoW that I've taken screenshots of, sometimes I'll give 1 raffle ticket per area that you find. So that'll increase your odds there too. But Kander always does those.
I'm really good at him too. Like, I'm pretty consistent with those. What do we call them? Weekly.
So is it just about you not winning now? Is that what this is about?
Lynx, I don't see your name on here at all, man.
What? Like, I post screenshots
He
of me
posts
doing this
pictures.
stuff all the time. Like, right?
Yeah.
It's my ticket.
So just in case I forget, but Drew, can we get Kat to put a ticket in Woody's hands to the coffee cup? Like, so we have that as when the raffle comes?
I can ask her and see what the response is, but
I'm sure you
We'll
could
have
just
to see.
Photoshop it in.
I can do it too, but like,
yeah, I mean, you're the pro at that. You
It's-
probably have that
Yeah.
down, right? Like I've seen you do that in less than 30 seconds before.
it's gonna be that 8-bit ticket though. It's not gonna be a high quality like. It's gonna be that 8-bit ticket that I use. That's what he's gonna do.
That even makes it better,
Good.
right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's your calling
Gotta
card.
keep it OG, man. Gotta keep it OG.
Right, good deal. All right, so I guess that'll wrap it up here for the week. We'll go into final thoughts. Bay, you got final thoughts for us?
Ooh, I didn't know I was gonna get final thoughts.
Thanks for watching the show. And
I didn't
Oh,
know
what
you
was
had
that?
thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, final thoughts. Any thoughts, really?
15
No.
episodes. and you
I'm
never
looking
did
forward to
this.
9.1 when everybody gets back online and we're all playing together again. Obviously, everybody right now is kind of raid logging, myself included. So I'm just looking forward to everybody getting back as a group and doing what we do. But yeah, thanks for having me on this morning. It was fun. I was a little apprehensive. I get nervous around cameras, so
Yeah.
this went okay though.
All right, you stream
Also,
twice.
makes me nervous.
You stream twice a week, right? Tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, I stream when we raid, basically. So I'm at twitch.tv/Lost Colony. The last O is actually a 0. You can do the math on that one yourselves. But yeah, I'm there Tuesdays and Wednesdays when we raid. So 8 p.m. Central Time, because that's what time zone I'm in.
Yep. And we will have his link if you're watching this on YouTube in the description below. Again, it's Only Lonely or Lost Colony. All right,
Unreal,
so
man.
Drew,
So good.
Drew, what do you got for final thoughts there?
Nothing. Just glad to be here with you guys, and just let you guys know, me and Kat we're actually stopping the guild podcast, but we'll be starting something else up here soon. And then also we're going to be focusing on a YouTube channel, and also the reason that I moved into this room is we're going to be doing some streams with both of us on the same stream, playing games and stuff. So
There you
yeah,
go.
lots of stuff coming up here soon.
Cool, man.
Awesome. Yeah, that's something to look forward to for sure.
All right, good things to come. And then what about yourself there, Hack? What are your final thoughts?
Yeah, just to mirror Bay, I'm excited for 9-1 just to get back into it and hang out with everybody on the regular. But I'm just hoping to see good things from 9-1 and hope to see everybody playing some classic just to hang out. And yeah, Drew and Bay, thanks for welcome and thanks for coming.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Well, and real quick there, Thunder. So you're gonna be streaming with Kat on her stream on YouTube. Where can they find you?
So it's going to be on her stream,
Okay.
and then we'll record it and probably post it to the YouTube account, and it's going to be the same one that I do the cosplay stuff on, because I'm going to start that up once we're able to get back to conventions and different things too. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be good.
All right, we'll get the links from him. We'll put them below the description here on YouTube. TBC comes out pre-patch Tuesday. Find me in TBC. That's where I'm going to be at. Maybe not on Atish, because I can't even say it. Like, I might be on a different one. I want to do some PvP.
You can't say anything, Lynx. You can't say anything.
Like he had a hard time with Aragos, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I play mainly on Arugula as Alliance.
Oh, there you go.
I'm a big salad guy. So, all right, you can catch me Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Central Time streaming over on the same channel you're watching right now, of course. And then every Sunday morning, wake up with some morning wood, 8 a.m. ish. We'll try and start
Or
it.
8:45.
Right. It's basically how you can know when the hack has woken up and not seen his shadow.
Yeah.
Because if he sees a shadow, he goes back to sleep for another 45 minutes. So. All right, good deal. Well, I appreciate you guys for stopping out. We will see you again next week. Have a good one.